What's up, everybody? My name is Brad, and today I've got another book review for you guys, and I'm going to be talking about Of Mice and Minestrone, HAP and Leonard, The Early Years by Joe R. Lansdale. This was an ARC that I did receive through NetGalley from the publisher for review consideration. The book has already released. It did come out back on May 28th. I did finish the book back in May, but I've sort of been slacking on my written reviews, so I'm just now getting around to it. But I'm fairly new to Joe R. Lansdale. I've only read one of his books prior to this, and that was The Bottoms, and I really enjoyed that story. But for me, this is the first time that I've got to travel down to East Texas and sit on the muddy banks of the Sabine River and got to hang out with HAP and Leonard. And I sort of feel sad that it's taken me this long to get to these stories and these characters because I really enjoyed it. I feel like I've been missing out. But this book, Of Mice and Minestrone, it is a collection of 6 short stories. From what I can tell, they're all prequels to anything else that has been written about HAP and Leonard. And these are sort of telling their youthful years back when they were younger. Back when black boys and white boys weren't supposed to talk to each other, let alone be best friends. Back when a loud and proud black man was basically unheard of. But for me, these stories felt like I was coming back home. Like I was sitting on the porch, surrounded by loved ones, a glass of ice cold lemonade in hand, listening to the crickets chirp and sort of serenade the sun as it sets. These stories felt like home-cooked comfort food for the mind. Joe R. Lansdale, he sort of has a magical quality to his writing and storytelling that almost makes it seem like he's a long-lost friend sitting next to you, and he's just telling you some stories of years long past, just sort of catching up with a friend. I really enjoyed his writing style. I can't explain it. It was just sort of magical and felt real life, just having a conversation with a friend and having a story told to you from a friend is sort of what it felt like. But HAP and Leonard, they are sort of a dynamic duo like Batman and Robin. I'm not sure who would play who. I think Leonard would probably be Batman and HAP would be the sidekick. Leonard is sort of blatant and loud and upfront and just in your face and boisterous and doesn't care what anybody thinks about him. And their witty back and forth banter was fantastic, and it brought some levity to some of the darker stories and situations that they find themselves in. But that was probably my favorite part of all the stories, is just their back and forth. They're super funny, especially Leonard. Leonard is hilarious. But HAP and Leonard, they're more than just friends. They're brothers. They might not always see eye to eye on things, but they always show respect for one another. And the two characters, you can really tell that a lot of time and effort and love has been put into building these characters, and I fell in love with them, and I'm so glad I don't have to wait for other books to be written about them. There's a whole series about them that I can go ahead and start enjoying now. The stories, they sort of consist of, and I won't go over each one, but there's sort of one where one of them's trying to be sort of a knight in shining armor to save a damsel in distress. One of them is about a bar fight that goes wrong. One is about HAP and Leonard trying to earn some extra cash in the boxing ring. And one of them is just about 2 friends sitting down, fishing, and relating some of their horror stories. Leonard from his time in the Vietnam War, and HAP from his time in prison, where he actually went to prison for protesting the Vietnam War. And like I said earlier, these stories really show the amount of time and care and effort and love that Lansdale has put into these 2 characters. I think I read a quote of him somewhere saying these are his 2 favorite characters he's ever created, and that really comes across on the page. Whether it's showcasing their triumphs in some of the stories or hinting at some of their darker inner demons, they just totally feel like real people, real well developed and deep characters. If I had to pick a favorite story from the collection, I think it would be Sparring Partners. And if you can't tell from the title, that is the one about them boxing. That one was just, it was a lot of fun. It was entertaining, but it was also the perfect balance of sort of that youthful innocence mixed with the harsh realities that life can throw at you, sort of like a sneaky sucker punch. And then the last story, it's called Good Eats. That one's not your traditional narrative tale. It is a collection of recipes about food that is found throughout the rest of the stories. There's like jalapeno cornbread and the title food, if you will, minestrone, Minnie's minestrone, different recipes like that. And I don't know if Joe wrote any of that part, but I know his daughter, Casey Lansdale, she's at least the one that collected the recipes and things. But they don't read like your normal cookbook. They sort of have their own conversational narrative flair to them that gives them character and life all their own. They're sort of told through the characters' perspectives about adding this ingredient and that, and they're told in a witty, whimsical sort of way instead of just your boring, pour 2 cups of water in and add this and that. There's some narrative flair to the recipes, which I enjoyed. And actually, I think I might do a video cooking one of the recipes and talking about it and stuff like that. I think that'd be fun because I do like to cook and stuff. But for this one, this was a darkly humorous, violent, gritty, and at times poignant tale of This was darkly humorous, violent, gritty, and at times poignant Southern fried tales from the Jim Crow South that will leave your reading appetite hungry for more. I thoroughly enjoyed this collection. I'm giving it 5 stars, and I'm really excited to continue on with the other HAP and Leonard adventures. I'm almost positive the first book is called Savage Season. I'm definitely going to be trying to check that one out sometime soon. I might try to get it on audiobook and give it a listen. But I believe if you are a Joe R. Lansdale fan, if you're a HAP and Leonard fan, I think you will be pleasantly surprised and happy with this collection. I really enjoyed it, and I'm new to HAP and Leonard and basically new to Joe R. Lansdale myself. For myself, I didn't have to, if you've never read any of the HAP and Leonard stuff, you will still get enjoyment out of it. Like I said, I've never read any of the other tales. I didn't feel lost or anything. I felt right at home with these stories, and I loved every one of them. They're all great. But that's all I have for you guys today. Again, if I didn't say it, I gave this 5 stars of Mice and Minestrone, HAP and Leonard, the early years. I really enjoyed it, and I'm excited to read more of the HAP and Leonard stories and just more of Lansdale's work in general. I've heard a lot of good things about The Thicket. I really want to read that one, and there's like the the Drive-In series, I think it's called. Just all kinds of stuff. He's a very prolific author, and he has tons of good stuff out there that I am really curious to dive into. Well, that's all I have for you guys today. Again, this has been my 5-star review of Mice and Minestrone, HAP and Leonard, the early years. If you've read any of the HAP and Leonard books, let me know down in the comments what you thought about them, you liked them, what was maybe your favorite one. Well, that's all I have for you guys today. So thanks for spending your time with me. Again, my name is Brad, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.